took me a long time to realize that my identity was stopping me from manifesting. All these methods, I've tried all of them: affirmations, reading books, courses, lectures, guided breathing. Nothing was working. My desires were not materializing until I realized the problem. So, this might help you manifest faster. The problem is that we might not be aware of who or what we are behaving like. And the way to fix that is to become aware of the totality of the universe and to realize that there is no separation. Because if you are the universe and there is no separation between anything, that means you already have the manifestation, right? But it's really hard to get over this hump and this awareness. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. This is my journey, right? I spent so many years in learning all the tools, techniques, philosophies that help me transform my abilities with nature, manifesting, bending reality, and removed all my pain. Like, I had a severe mental health problem called psychosis. And after removing that, I was able to bend reality to my will, where I danced for the Detroit Pistons. I moved to a penthouse in Chicago, and now I moved to San Diego, my dream city. And I was like, if I can transform my life, remove all the pain, and start manifesting whatever I wanted, I'm sure other people can too. So then I work with a US Marine veteran who's dealing with PTSD from war. I've worked with a person that had trauma from brain surgery. She lost her sense of identity. And I've worked with entrepreneurs to triple their income. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do internally so you can shift your identity, because your identity is what attracts your manifestation. So then you can manifest whatever you want, bro. Like, come on. Don't we all want that 10 out of 10 income, health, and relationships? It all starts with being aware of who we really are. So, once and for all, I hope you remember this, because this is going to determine your quality of life. What determines our manifestations is who we are. And who we are, our identity, whoa, that is really thick, bro. It's okay, let's keep it for now. Our identity is our aura. And our aura is like a magnet that attracts reality. All right? You really want to question, what is your vibe? What is the quality of your being? What kind of things are you thinking about most of the day? Because that is going to determine who you are. So let's say your ID equals your thought subscriptions, right? At the time, I really wanted to blow up on TikTok for dancing, right? I danced for Detroit Pistons. I was like, all right, I have professional experience. Now let me get super big on TikTok. And I tried like so hard, going to my local dance studio, trying to record with different clothes, with different backgrounds, with lower quality camera, higher quality camera. Nothing was working, right? Like, I would only get 200 to 300 views. And I wasn't even consistent, right? Because I was entitled, right? Entitlement is another thought subscription, right? I was thinking, like, man, all these other youngins, young dancers, are blowing up so quickly, right? That's also a subscription. And another word for subscription is concept, right? Like, what concept or idea was I believing in? That, oh, these people can do it so easily, why can't I? Right? And I was also inconsistent. Whoops. I was inconsistent in my dance practices. I was inconsistent with training. I was inconsistent with my own frequency and how I wanted to behave, right? And I was also itching. Itching for what? Itching for results. Now, imagine adding all these three up. This is what created my truth, my true identity, right? Even though I wanted to blow up, even though I wanted, those followers, that recognition, that clout, this was the truth. And the universe only gives you, and it's equal to what you are, whether you're aware of it or not. And I was unaware of these three things. And this was going on for about like 8 months to 12 months. And so I was like, dude, I need to give up. I need to give up the frequencies, the subscriptions, the concepts, the ideas, and the feelings that I'm currently holding. So there's room to become the person that I wanted to become, the version of me that had 10,000 followers, a couple of videos with over 1 million views, right? And so I was like, what kind of person is that? And so I just did the opposite. Instead of being entitled, I started to work humbly, with humbleness, right? And instead of being inconsistent and streaky, some days I would have really good videos, some days I wouldn't even record at all. I started to just worry about being consistent. And instead of itching for results, I surrendered the results, right? And this transformed me into a new identity, right? And then finally, I posted one video. Actually, before I even posted the video, I was training in the studio. So you can imagine dance studio. It was like afternoon on a Sunday. And with these three in mind, I was like, let me just go try. Let me go have fun. Let me just keep experimenting. And I was doing this in fall of 2022 to winter of 2023. And it took about like 6 months, right? And in February, or I believe March of 2023, I was carrying these frequencies, and this was basically a part of who I am, humbleness, consistency, and surrendering the results. And out of nowhere, the light bulb video idea came to me. Instead of performing like a dancer, why don't I teach like a dance teacher? And so that idea just randomly came to me effortlessly after 6 months of practicing humbleness, consistency, and surrendering the results, which resulted in my video blowing up, right? It blew up. I was like, oh wow, 10,000 views, nice. I checked the app again, 50,000. I checked the app again, 150,000. I check again, 500,000. It kept going. It went to 1 million views. And with that single video, I got 10,000 followers. And it didn't take 6 months for me to achieve this goal. It took me 6 months to transform my concept and thought subscriptions. In other words, because who says thought subscriptions? Nobody. To change my aura, my frequency, because that allowed me to attract 10,000 followers. That video currently has 1.4 million views. If you want some evidence, let's see if I can bring it to you right now. Sorry if this does something to the video, but like I really want to show you that this stuff is possible. Here, I can drop the picture right now. It's uploading. Did it come? Let's try again. Bear with me, because this is the magic of actually changing your frequency. And the next part I'm going to get to is like, how can you maintain it, right? How can you actually maintain that vibe? All right, right here. Boom. Right? This is my current standing. I kept holding on to these three frequencies, and from 10,000 it became 20,000, and now it's at 33,000 followers. This is the beauty of realizing that your aura might be the issue because it's holding on to entitlement, inconsistent practice, and itching and being needy for result. Because what type of person is itching and needy for results? The person that doesn't have those feelings, the person that doesn't have the feeling of blowing up on TikTok. A person who is inconsistent is streaky. What kind of person is streaky? A person who thinks, that they can get away with things by doing it only once. Oh yeah, I practice like for a week. That's good enough. These are all the attitudes that I carried that made me struggle. But as soon as I flipped my conscience, I became the person that attracted this manifestation. Now, how do we keep that manifestation, right? How do we make sure that we maintain the newfound aura? Before we get into that, I really want to show you the concept of non-duality. You've probably heard it if you're in this path of trying to manifest, right? And spirituality. Non-duality is a concept that there is no separation. Everything is one. Everything is whole. So, where I got this concept from was the book The Crystal and the Way of Light, which is a Buddhism book, and this is the highest teaching in Buddhism. It's also the highest teaching in Hinduism, which is called Advaita Vedanta. Right? Our identity equals our skin, our likes, dislikes, thoughts, emotions, body, right? It goes on and on forever because we're associated with so many different things. But if we remove all these associations, what is left? What is left in this circle of awareness? It's nothing. Or is it everything? Because if there is room for anything to drop in, doesn't that mean you can change your likes and dislikes? You can change your thoughts, you can change your emotions, you can change your body, you can change your entire reality? Because when there's nothing, there's room for everything. And this is an experience, right? You can have an experience of non-duality during the meditative state. When you focus on nothing long enough and you let go of these things, you enter the highest trance, the whole trance, where you realize there is no separation between me and my manifestation. There is no separation between me and God. There is no separation between me and you, my friend. You are me and I am you. There's an anime scene in Jujutsu Kaisen where the protagonist is looking dead in the eye of the antagonist, and the antagonist has killed the main character's friends. And the main character said, "It took me so long to realize that I am you. You are a part of me." And it's so hard to say and experience. But when you get to that experience and realize, like, holy crap, all the difficulties and frustrations that I feel because of my reality, because of my income, because of my health, because of my relationships, it's not outside. That identity, that frequency is happening within my realm of consciousness, right? My awareness. And so, how do you actually experience and remember that you are everything, that you are one, you are whole? In other words, you are God, because there is no separation between you and the universe. Because we are subscribed to society's model of reality that you are a person, place, or thing interacting in a physical universe, right? The whole Matrix story, it is easy to forget that your soul is a piece of the infinite consciousness. You are simply the droplet of the infinite cosmic ocean. We forget that because of our matrix tendencies. If you can just maintain the awareness that, like, wow, I don't need to itch, I don't need to be inconsistent, I don't need to be entitled, because I already have everything. It might appear that I am limited because of, my skin, my likes, my dislikes, financial condition, whatever. It might appear that I'm limited, but peel back the entire concept of who I am nothing, dude. Therefore, I can become anything. Like Ram Dass says, from somebody to nobody to everybody, and Joe Dispenza adds this on, to anyone. And your goal is to become the one that has it all. Right? Don't you want it all? Why limit yourself to, oh, I just want this amount of income? No. You want the best amount of income. No matter, like, the highest number of zeros that you can think of. That's what you want, right? The best kind of relationships. People saying, like, wow, dude, your aura is magnetizing. I love your presence. That's what you want people to say to you, right? This can only happen when you keep in mind that you are the one that has it all. In other words, who has it all? This guy. So remember that all the techniques, all the things that you've ever been practicing is not to get the manifestation, but to become the one that manifests, to become the one that attracts. Easier said than done, right? So how do you do it? By letting go, by giving up the desire. Because you do not want the manifestation, right? You don't want the manifestation. You want the emotion you get from having that manifestation. So why not choose the highest emotion? Gratitude and love. Because that's probably what you're going to feel when you get that manifestation. If you can maintain gratitude and love, which is the highest emotion anyway, doesn't that make you a god? Doesn't that make you the greatest magnet to ever exist? Because that's where peace, happiness, your cup is overflowing, and so you can start sharing with others. This is what got me to my dream city, my dream life, my ability to work with others, because my gratitude and love was just like, bro, I need to share this. And the universe started reading this frequency, right? Frequency is just like a wave. It started reading the frequency of gratitude, love, and started giving me more physical manifestations so I can maintain this gratitude and love. Now, don't get me wrong, to make this transformation from entitlement to humbleness, from inconsistency to consistent, from itching to surrendering, that's where the friction is. If you can catch yourself every time that you're not feeling gratitude and love and replace it with gratitude and love, there is going to be some friction, because you are probably at a lower frequency, right? Let's say this is a lower wave, and to jump, that's where it's going to feel like struggle. But there's no such thing as struggle. It's just an opportunity for you to learn. So if you got this far in this video, that means you're pretty serious. You've been trying all these techniques and tools and methods to transform your life and bend reality because you know it's possible, right? If you want some direct help, apply using the link in the description to work with me because I can fill the exact holes. We can figure out the exact holes that need filling up so you can start manifesting instantly. And I just want to leave you with this saying that I think I want to say for the rest of my videos. Always remember, the devil wants you to forget that you're some kind of identity, some player in this game, this simulation, this matrix. But you always have to remember that the entity that is experiencing your thoughts, your emotions, your life, who is that? Who is the thing that's experiencing? Who or what is the thing that's experiencing your life? Always remember, because then you will always have the highest frequency and you will always manifest whatever you desire. Always remember.